Now, we have some memorable sports moments from the decade. I'm going to say them. You tell me if you remember them or not. Okay? Zito, are you ready for this?
Yes, sir.
The decision. Do you remember when LeBron James sat down on ESPN at a Boys and Girls Club, I believe, in New England somewhere?
Sounds right.
I think it was in like Boston. It wasn't in Cleveland. It was somewhere else.
It was near ESPN's
It
headquarters.
was near Bristol or whatever.
Yeah.
It was up in Connecticut or something like that. And he was raising money and awareness for the Boys and Girls Club. In his eyes, doing something very, very good. And instead, all it turned into was a massive scandal where he dumped all over the Cleveland Cavaliers and said he's taking his talents to South Beach, Miami, where they were going to win not one, not two, not three, not four, not 5 championships. And they won a couple, but it didn't turn out as everybody thought. And in the end, probably will be quite a skid mark on the underwear of LeBron James' career.
See, that was the only time in the past 10 years I liked LeBron.
Yeah, because he punished Cleveland.
Just ripped their hearts out of
Yeah,
Cleveland.
but let's assume everybody not from Pittsburgh viewed that and felt very bad for the Cavaliers.
The decision I do remember, him sitting across, but more the pep rally was what I remember more.
I don't think I remember the pep rally.
That's where the 1, the 2, the 3 is the pep
Where
rally.
they got introduced,
Yeah.
called themselves the Heatles. I was real excited about that group, by the way. I was a big LeBron fan. I've said this on numerous occasions. Saw him in high school dunk on a bunch of white kids in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Sold out an entire arena. Goes to Cleveland. I mean, that team, the owner, who was the owner? Who's the owner?
Dan Gilbert.
Dan Gilbert just, refused to put a good team around the guy. So he says, you know what, I'm out of here. And then Dan Gilbert slandered the hell out of LeBron on his way out of there. The entire city was burning LeBron James jerseys. It was a massive cluster-uck. And then all of a sudden, a couple years later, kid comes back home, wins him some championships, says, I'm grown. That was a massive thing, though. The decision will never be forgotten. Another thing that happened this decade that we should never forget is the Cubs ended their drought. Good for Bartman.
Yeah.
Good for Bartman.
108 years?
What were they? The lovable losers forever. Just the lovable losers. Then all of a sudden, whammy, they finally win. Now everybody hates them again. You know what I mean?
come on.
Everybody hates them. They fired that coach or the GM that everybody loves.
Joe Madden.
Everybody loves Joe. Everybody loves Joe. You guys fired him.
We got Grandpa Ross back in there.
I don't know. Oh, the catcher?
Yeah.
He's the manager now?
Yeah.
Oh, the Cubs are all the way
story.
back.
All
Yeah,
the way
it's
back.
great. So I like that guy, too. Good interviews whenever he talks. Usain Bolt happened. Fastest dude to ever exist. Had no idea that humans could do what humans do until Usain Bolt was sprinting, breaking his own world records while jogging for the last 10 yards every single time just so he could break his record again. That was a lot of fun. I loved his whole thing where he did the point thing. Yeah. I mean, I was a big Usain Bolt.
He made
Bolt guy.
the fastest humans on Earth look slow.
You remember what poor little Tink Tink looked like right next to him? Poor little Tink Tink had those razor blades that he was running on. Tink 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 Tink.
Yeah.
That could never cramp. You know what I mean? He could never cramp. He could never get tired. Those things were always at maximum boink. And Usain Bolt just sprinted right by him.
Is he allowed to wear those in jail?
No, he's nubbing around.
Wheelchair.
Deflategate happened.
Oh, man.
God.
That almost took up the entire decade, by the way. It felt like that was never going to end, and then it did with a 4-game suspension, which was a 4-game break for Tom Brady, and then he goes and wins the Super Bowl.
Hindsight, it was worth it in the end.
Asterisks.
Forget
was
the
that?
asterisks.
Asterisks.
Well, I mean, also happening in this decade, the filming of the Cincinnati Bengals sideline by the New England Patriots. Which, by the way, they've investigated, I guess, very hard, and they have yet to find a single link between the football operation and that buffoon in the video. Well, I can tell you right now, wicked fast. Wicked fast. By the way, Zito also trended for video taping the Buffalo Bills.
It worked.
It did. The
Helped
Patriots
us.
were able to beat the Bills because of Zito's work.
Bill actually sent me a message.
By the way, that footage, I mean, I think we're all at this point now, but there for a while, people were acting as if they could really, solve the Rubik's Cube with that Cincinnati Bengals footage. I think we all recognize that there ain't nothing from that footage we can get, right? This will all just be something that nobody even talks about later in the league.
Yeah, I assume so.
Like in 10 years from now, people will talk about Deflategate. People will talk about the original Spygate, but I don't think they'll talk about this Bengals one.
They might throw it in adds a little bit.
You
Just
think so?
Just fine them, so if they get caught again, then you can really bring the hammer down.
Oh,
Oh.
do it, Nick. Do it.
Got to do it.
There's a lot of laptops over there. Well, hello there. Utilize the promo code PAYTHEBILLS and get $20 off your first order from SeatGeek. Now, back to the magic. Beastquake happened.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Which will forever be remembered as one of the best runs in the history of the NFL, which was ended in beautiful fashion with a classic home up. The fact that he's back in the NFL right now and still looks like he can kind of run is very impressive.
Unreal.
It's awesome for the NFL.
I saw him in Canada. We were with him in Canada for the DAZN shoot with the Skittles. I didn't think that guy was going to go play in the NFL again.
Didn't look like he wanted to either.
No, he was having a great time. He was having a blast, enjoying it all. And now, bingo, bango, serving tequila from Beastquake at the beginning of the decade to the end of the decade, still not getting a chance to run the ball in from the half-yard line because the Seattle Seahawks can't handle it. Also happened this decade. Linsanity. Do you remember Jeremy Lin?
Yeah.
Going ham for the New York Knicks. Absolutely ham. What was it, an 8-game run that made that guy probably $100 million?
Yeah, he beat Kobe.
Like 30, 40 points a game.
For 8 games or 9 games? How long was it? It was 8 games, I
Yeah, it
believe.
was something like that.
He took over everything. Linsanity was massive, and obviously it led to him getting a deal somewhere else. I think Houston, and then somewhere else.
Yeah,
and he
he's
never
still-
played. I don't think he ever played again.
He's played
he's
for
still-
like 10 teams
Yeah,
since then.
Atlanta, Brooklyn.
But has he played,
Yeah,
or is
yeah,
he
yeah.
waiting for somebody to get hurt so he can go on another 8-game run?
Probably that.
Pretty much that.
Now
Was
he's
he on the
waiting for
Raptors last year? Did he get a ring?
Yeah, he had that hair.
Lynn's got a ring.
Oh, yeah.
I love Jeremy.
Legitimately the best thing that happened in the Knicks the last decade.
I've never
It really was.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never seen somebody seize an opportunity like Jeremy Lin seized it. That's a message for all the kids out there. If you're sitting around and you ain't got crap to do, whenever Wally Pipp shows up, you go ahead and you dominate like Jeremy Lin did. He's probably made $100 million, and now he has a ring because of it.
Well, and I think he was a huge part of the reason that the NBA got so big in China so quickly.
Also happened this decade, the NBA got small in China. I won't talk about it because I don't know enough about it. That was quite a controversy just a couple months ago. Also, this decade, Tebow Mania.
Oh,
Friend of the show.
yeah.
He's an acquaintance of the show. He's only been on once. I consider people friends of the show if they've been on numerous times. I consider people friends of the show if I could just send a text and say, hey, insert question here and answer back.
I think you could send him a text.
I don't have his number.
I did. I lost it.
Bad move by you. If you have Tebow's number, by the way, he's all in on these keto commercials. He might be looking out for us soon.
Really?
Yeah. If you watch any television at all, old Tebow shows up with the keto. He was on TiVo too there for a while.
Yep.
TiVo. Now it's Tebow Keto. I like that a lot.
That's just good marketing.
Great marketing. He has a good team around him. But that's because he's a good guy. Kaepernick happened. Just Kaepernick happened. And that is something that will be talked about forever. Kaepernick. What if he never gets back in the NFL, which we're all assuming is the case at this point?
Yeah.
And I think the tide has kind of got to the point where we just expect it and understand that he's never going to get in the NFL. For a little bit, there was a lot of conversation, especially whenever you see like Matt Barkley throw the ball into the dirt, like 45 straight pass attempts. You know what I mean? Your first initial thought is like, Kaepernick's got to be better than this guy. But there's a lot more to it when it comes to being a backup quarterback. You got to be able to run a scout team. You got to be able to break down film very well. I'm not saying that Kaepernick can't, but there's a lot of things that go to being a backup quarterback. And if you bring a lot of distraction, there's probably not a lot of teams that are going to want to bring you in. But whenever you watch Matt Barkley throw shot puts to players still in the NFL, you're like, this is kind of a tough look for Kaepernick. But now it's not even like that because of the workout situation that happened where he didn't do the NFL workout that Hugh Jackson was going to lead.
Correct.
Yeah.
I look at the year that they went to the Super Bowl and how dominant he was. It was almost like Lamar Jackson. I remember they played the Packers at Lambeau in the playoffs, and he threw for like 400 yards and had like 150 rush yards. Like just did whatever he wanted on the field.
And by the way, he has an interesting throwing style too.
Yeah.
He throws like a javelin. Great athlete. Where do you go? Reno?
Nevada, yeah.
Nevada, in Reno. Reno 911, I heard, is coming out with another movie. Ooh. That was one of my favorite shows growing up. Reno 911.
Oh yeah, Dangle's
I
the
was
best.
Lieutenant Dangle for like 3 Halloweens. Big mustache, short shorts, let the gloves hang. Beastquake happened. Mayweather-McGregor happened in the last decade. One of the most highly anticipated boxing matches that involved somebody that wasn't a boxer who actually survived, what was it, 10 and a half rounds, Todd? 10
Yes, sir, and was doing well.
10 rounds he had him. The conversation about about McGregor was he has no shot. This is Mayweather's world. And I'm like, no, he's a good fighter. The guy will be able to hold his own. They're like, no. Boxing is a very different animal. I mean, he knows how to point you to death. He won't get hit. And everybody's like, even if he does figure out how to box and figure out how to utilize the points, he's going to die. The conditioning for boxing is just a completely different level. And He gets to the 5th round. Everybody's like, wait a minute, does he got something? 6th round, 7th round, 8th round, 9th round, and then the 10th round, he got a bit wobbly. And it all kind of ended there, and Mayweather made another $100 million and is still undefeated, thinking about fighting again in 2020.